Hello everybody and welcome back. Good to talk to all of you again today. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about and I'm going to try this in the Italian pronunciation, Giulio Cesare, the Italian premium tier 5 battleship that is currently being tested, I believe, on the ST server. So what I have right now is the DATAMINE data. And from the early DATAMINE data, there are a few things that I can probably talk to you all about. Now, the reason I'm doing this video today, not the Captain's Academy video, is because I'm still waiting on confirmation on something that I am currently in the process of double checking. And so when I have that information, I will have that episode out. Anyways, as you can see, Italian battleship, absolutely beautiful. Most Italian ships are, and one of the reasons they often are among my favorites in terms of warships in the world. I guess before I get started on this, just to update you all on real life for a second as well, I have finished moving, have finished unpacking, and I'm getting back into the swing of things. Although, of course, now I am sharing space with other people, so that means that recording is going to become a little bit more challenging, but I will make do. Anyhow, what do we know about the Giulio Cesare so far, aside from the fact that she is absolutely beautiful? I mean, hey, personally, if this ship comes out, I'll get it just because she's pretty. Alright, so taking a look at her stats for a second here. 45,500 HP for Tier 5 battleship. Now, compared to every other Tier 5 battleship that we have so far, fully upgraded, this is among the lower HP pool. But, again, it's not too much lower. We're talking usually about, maybe 2,000 to 3,000, with the exception of Congo, which, runs away with the HP pool. Maximum battery firing range is 16.37 kilometers. Again, a little bit on the short side when you compare it to, Iron Duke, which is at 16.7, New York, which is at 18, Congo at 21, Koenig at 16.48. The Cesare is a little bit on the lower end in terms of range. But she does have 10 barrels in total, 320 millimeter caliber main battery guns, which I will talk about a little bit more in a little while. Secondary armament, she has some secondary guns, 100, 120 millimeter, there's a lot, but only 4 kilometer firing range, so these secondary guns I don't think are really going to get used all that much. Air defense likewise is also not exactly super amazing. There's definitely some AA, but I wouldn't really be counting on it. But then again, it's tier 5. You're not really counting on the AA of a tier 5 battleship. Maximum speed, however, is quite nice. 27 knots for tier 5 battleship does make her a reasonably fast ship. I think the only ship that would be faster really would be Congo. Everything else is going to be a touch bit slower. Turning circle radius of 640 meters does make her a reasonably agile battleship. So, in terms of first looks at things, speed, turning, so that's maneuverability, they all seem okay. HP pool not too shabby, especially when you look at the armor. The armor is actually alright. Surface detectability is 13.68, which does make her a very stealthy battleship. I mean, if you compare it to Iron Duke, which is at 14.94, New York at 16, Congo at 16 as well, and Koenig at 14, the Giulio Cesare is going to be on the stealthy end when you compare it to other ships. In terms of things like consumables, she's also very standard. Damage control party, which is quite standard, and of course a repair party that is standard. She does not have a plane from what I can see so far. Alright, now onto the two more interesting things, right? And that has to do with armor, and also has to deal with the main battery guns. And this is where Giulio Cesare becomes quite an interesting ship. So, this is the armor profile so far, and I will break it down piece by piece. So, as you can tell, she actually has, okay, reasonable side armor. In terms of thickness, we'll kind of break it down. You have a strip there. Here's the waterline, by the way. So that first strip is underwater, and this strip of armor here is 250 millimeters thick, I believe, if I remember correctly. Oh, it's not actually reading this piece of armor right now. There it is. 250 millimeters thick. That's the casement layer. Then you have another strip over here that's 220 millimeters thick, and that's also a casement layer. This is the strip that's right above the waterline. And then you have a strip of armor over here that's 210 millimeters, and this is See it? That's under the waterline. So you've got about 210 to maybe like 200 and I would say about 50 millimeters worth of protection on the sides. That's actually not that awful. If you compare it to the other battleships, yes, ships like the Koenig and stuff like that do have thicker belt armor, but you know the armor profile of the Giulio Cesare is actually quite similar to that of Congo. In fact, if you look at Congo's armor profile, you'll see that Congo's main belt armor is this piece over here that's 203 millimeters thick. So Giulio Cesare actually has a slightly thicker side armor. And Congo, if you angle well with her, you know, her armor does actually work reasonably well. Alright, so going back to the Giulio Cesare, here we go. If we take a look at some of her other characteristics, so first things first, she does have 19 millimeters of bow armor. She also has 19 millimeters right here. 19 millimeters can be overmatched by 356 millimeter guns, so that means that a lot of the ships that you run into tier 5, 6, 7, they're going to be able to overmatch your bow and penetrate. However, if you actually angle, you will notice that the Giulio Cesare has armor that's done like this. Right around the front here, there's thicker armor plates where if you were to angle, these plates cannot be overmatched. And this is very, very similar to kind of the German style of armor design, where if you were able to angle well, if they shoot trying to get your citadel here, they will actually get auto bounced. So at worst, you will be taking penetrations from the bow. So I think the Giulio Cesare, I think overall is reasonably well protected. Now, another thing to note about this particular ship is that if you actually look at her on the inside, you will notice, wait, where is that piece of armor? Oh, right here. You will notice that she does have a turtleback. However, this turtleback, and it is fully underwater, this turtleback is 24 millimeters thick. So in the event that you do have a 356 millimeter shell that comes in, that manages to penetrate and get in there, this piece of armor really won't do too much in terms of auto bouncing, right? Because it will get overmatched. However, because it is placed so low underwater, my wager is it'll still offer reasonably good protection for the Citadel, so I don't think you're going to be taking all too many Citadel hits with this particular battleship. So all in all, I actually think the Giulio Cesare is, yeah, reasonably well protected. Where I think her greatest frustrating moment for players is going to come from, I think is going to lie in these main battery guns. So there's a couple things to keep note of. First of all, the sigma value is 1.5. Horizontal dispersion is actually very, very tight. To max range, right now, it's listed as 156 meters. This is cruiser level horizontal dispersion. So horizontal dispersion, the Giulio Cesare is amazing. So what's the problem, you ask, and where's this frustration going to come from? Well, I think the frustration is going to come from this. If you look at the armor piercing of the Giulio Cesare, as well as the high explosive shells, you'll notice something very interesting. Projectile speed is really high, 830 meters per second, and shell mass for the armor piercing is 525. That's relatively light shells. What you're going to be looking at with high velocity light shells is pretty wonky vertical dispersion. Now, how vertical dispersion works in this game, as I explained before during a Captain's Academy video on vertical dispersion, is that vertical dispersion is done as a ballistic calculation. So there's a ballistic formula that you basically put numbers into, things like the caliber of the shells, the air drag, the speed, the mass of the shell, and basically what you do is you plot where the shells land, and by plotting it, you're able to tell how great that vertical dispersion circle will be. And if you combine the vertical and the horizontal dispersion for the Giulio Cesare, you'll probably see that the dispersion will be these really long ovals. And that combined with the 1.5 sigma means that with the Giulio Cesare, there's going to be a lot of overshooting and undershooting, kind of like the same problem that the Dunkirk has. Yes, you're on occasion going to get absolutely amazing salvos, as 1.5 sigma does still say you do get about 80 some odd % chance of getting your shells to land somewhere in the middle. But there's a 20% chance to just go to the extreme edges of that circle, right? So I think here is where that frustration is mostly going to be coming from. That you're going to have a battleship that the guns are just not going to be all that dependable, and they're kind of going to be, frustrating. Land short, land long, land short, land long. Kind of like the same problem that the Dunkirk has. Aside from that, though, if you look at everything else with regards to the ship, it seems to be actually quite standard. I mean, the armor-piercing damage is not bad at all. The projectile crop value is actually quite good at 2,600. That combined with the shell mass and the velocity does indicate that, the guns should actually have reasonable penetration as well. So, if you look at the Giulio Cesare so far, I think she's going to be a maneuverable, well-protected battleship with guns that when they do work, they're going to be fantastic. However, they are going to be a little bit on the frustrating side. If you look at things like the air defense, you'll notice not very strong. And so I think air defense and secondaries are going to definitely be the weak points. And in particular air defense, because that actually was a weakness for the Italian Navy during the Second World War. So that pretty much does it for the Datamined view of the Giulio Cesare. If you have any questions about what I've said in the video, please ask that in the comment section below. Aside from all that, folks, I'm going to take off and keep working on that Captain's Academy video, so take care, and I will talk to all of you again really, really soon.